There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am with the Daisy's Green Light book tag, an original tag by Adrian of Stripped Cover Lit. And the purpose of this tag, as far as I understand it, is to talk about books you find on your shelves that you forgot you had. And my library is too new. My story is that I had a library of about 5,000 books in Vancouver, Canada, which I basically liquidated in order to move to Japan a decade ago. I came to Japan with less than 20 books that were non-related to my work. And now I don't know, I maybe have 500 books in my library. So I have accumulated them all in the last decade, and in fact really 90% of them in the last 3 years. So I am quite aware of what I have. So I have adapted this, tweaked it slightly to be books that I had almost forgotten that I had or that I hadn't thought about in a while. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And Adrian prefaced his original tag with some very deep thoughts a la Great Gatsby about how owning books is not materialistic. And I think that's a pretty hot topic, but I think it is materialistic, because otherwise we would just all use the library, and I don't like libraries, or I don't like library books. I don't like borrowing books from my friends or from libraries. If I encounter a book, if I experience a book on audio or ebook, and I love it, I immediately buy a hard copy. So I'm a material girl, and I don't care! But here are some books that I had almost forgotten that I had. The first is Helen Oyeyemi's most recent collection of short stories, which I bought. Again, I remember buying it. I remember why I bought it. I bought it because of the gorgeous spine, which is... You have to hit it the right way to see the printing, but there is no actual spine. But if you put it the right way, you can read the title and author, but I don't know how to make that happen. Anyway, it's a physically beautiful book. The pages go right up to the edge all the way around, and I couldn't not buy it. And the book opens. It's a book for Ange. You don't need to crack the spine because there's no spine to crack. After I bought it, I read Oyeyemi's Boy Snowbird. And I quite liked it until I put it down and thought about it for a few weeks, and now I would say I kind of hated it. And then later I tried her debut, The Icarus Girl, and I didn't like that at all, and I bailed early. I then got rid of all the other Oyeyemi books that I had been stockpiling, but I haven't had the heart to part with this one. Maybe she's one of those writers that doesn't write very good novels, but writes really great short stories. I believe these... Oh, did I give you the title? What is not yours is not yours. I believe there is a thematic link between the stories. Things that are lost, things that are found. And I've never tried it, so maybe someday I will. But so far, I would say, Oyeyemi, I know she has a new novel out that people are praising, but I haven't gotten along with her. But maybe I'll get along with this one. Next is a aesthetic monograph by Junichiro Tanizaki, In Praise of Shadows, that I read for the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge about 3 years ago. I can't remember what the category was. It doesn't matter. And this was back in the days when I was marking stuff up. I'm still more likely to mark nonfiction up than I am fiction, but I enjoyed this. It was the first thing I'd read by Tanizaki. I've since read The Makioka Sisters, which is my favorite Japanese novel, and also a novella by him called The Key, which is one of the worst books I've ever read. And I found this interesting and rather inscrutable, but I did make lots of notes. He's really weird, and he was really cranky. He's talking about why whiteness, the racial whiteness, is so ugly. Talking about Albert Einstein on a trip to Kyoto. There was a lot of things that gave me food for thought. Japanese architecture, Western architecture. He's such a cranky bastard. And he referred to a famous restaurant in Kyoto, the Waranjaya, and he wrote about visiting there, and this was written in 1933 and 1934, and that restaurant is still open, and it's over 400 years old. So yeah, Quite an interesting read for a cranky old bastard. This one I talked about in the African Writers Tag recently, but it bears repeating. This was a book that I had all pretty much forgotten I had. In the Castle of My Skin by George Lamming. Or if I remembered that I had it, I put it up, got it out of a box recently when Kenji gave me a new bookshelf for my birthday. I hadn't remembered what it was all about. So George Lamming is a Barbadian novelist, and this is the classic first novel about growing up in colonial Barbados. And it's a lovely novel. I think I got it used, and it was published in 1953. So I want to give this a try. Here is a Japanese novel that I think I might have brought this from Canada to Japan. Wind and Stone by Masaaki Tachihara. Translated by Stephen Cole, and I believe it's autographed to the previous owner by the translator. Translation published 1992. Story of a traditional Japanese garden designer and his relationship with one of his clients' wives. Haunting personal loss and remarkable sexual energy inherent in his garden design. Tachihara was born in 1926, the son of a Zen priest in Korea. I have a feeling it's going to be really bad. I think I might have done a page 112 checked, but I've still got it, and I should give it a little bit more of a try, but there you go. And the last one, I certainly was aware that I had this sitting on red on my shelf, but I haven't moved it any further to the top of my mental TBR, and I would like to do that, and that is The Gulf by Anna Spargle Ryan. This is her debut, The Paper House, and it was published, she's an Australian writer. It was published in 2016, and I found out about this book somewhere, somehow, maybe on Twitter. Couldn't get a copy other than to order it direct from some Australian online bookseller, and the shipping was going to be more than the cost of the book. So I had recently met friends of my then boyfriend and now husband that live in Australia, and I asked him if he, because it was a new release at that time in Australia, and I said, any chance that you could pick this up and I could pay you, because I think the shipping cost was like $30 US. It was just ridiculous. And I said, bring it on your next visit to Japan, because his husband is from Japan. He went to the bookstore. He's not a reader at all. It was in the new release section. He picked it up and he said, my brother's visiting. He lives in Tokyo. I'll send it back with him. So I met his brother the next week and got it for free. Matthew, our friend who lives in Australia, wouldn't accept any money. I made sure to buy him a lot of drinks the next time he came through Tokyo. But I got this book and I read it, and it was really good for a debut novel. It was really good. It wasn't perfect, but it had a lot of bright spots to it. So her second novel, The Gulf, was published, I think, the next year. Yep, 2017. And I got this in a similar way. A Litzy friend, March Payne, she and I traded books. I asked her if she would mind sending me this, and I would send her, I can't remember what I sent her, but we traded books, and I got the second one. So I really want to read it, and I'd kind of forgotten how much I wanted to read it, and there you go. So this one is about a 16-year-old girl, Sky. Her mom's got a new boyfriend. The new boyfriend is bad news, really bad news. And they are now all moving to the boonies in the north of Australia. Port Flinders, I don't know if that's a real place. Population nobody. And she is really worried. Have any of you Australian booktubers or subscribers read this? I'm looking forward to giving it a try now that Adrian, through the wisdom of his Daisy's Greenlight tag, has helped me to remind myself that it's sitting there beckoning to me on my shelf. So that is the Daisy's Greenlight tag. I wasn't tagged, but, you know, I did it. And who should I tag? Let's see, who did he tag? Dane reads. You must have some books on your shelf that you don't remember you have. Sonya of an enthusiastic reader. Marc Nash. Doris of Aldi Books. And she's back. Marie of MH Books. And anybody else who would like to do it. Thanks for watching.